Hello out there, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that talks to musicians about their dogs. I'm your host, Tim Dill, along with my hypoallergenic dog, Charlie, and today we welcome Peyton Bighorse from the self-proclaimed ugly pop trio, Skating Polly, whose new 18-song double LP, Chaos County Line, is out now, and this is her beloved Rocker Dog.
This is my dog, Georgie. She's my best friend, obviously. I got her when she was 2 and she's 6 now.
Okay.
And she is a Chihuahua.
Full Chihuahua, no mix or anything?
I think so. I'm not sure. I've never had a test done, but I don't think that there's anything else in there.
Okay. I mean, she does look the part, for sure. Pretty girl. Now, what was the context? So this is goes back to like 2017?
Mm-hmm.
What was the context around getting her?
So my parents just bought their house at the time. So we were finally able to have a pet. We weren't able to have pets before they bought it. And not everyone in the family wanted to get a pet. I really wanted to get a dog. So one day whenever Kelly and her dad and Curtis went down to Portland with some family, I just went to my mom and was like, "Can I adopt a dog today?" And so we went to the Humane Society and I found her right away. It was really sweet. She's the first dog I saw when I walked in, and she just started barking at me right away and just whining for me. And then I would walk away and I would look at other dogs, but every time I walked by her, she would start whining for me again, or maybe whining for my mom. She likes my mom a lot more than me, but
right. Now, what were your expectations going to the shelter at the time? Were you thinking small dog, or did your mother give you any incentive, like let's keep it small, or let's have this type of dog, or let's look for this?
Originally, I wanted a small or medium-sized dog that I could easily take on the road with me, which I didn't end up. I don't take her on the road with me because she doesn't like touring. She gets anxious going from place to place, so I'd leave her with my mom. But that was why I originally wanted a small dog.
Okay. I stumbled upon it on the band's Instagram page that you did an interview back with Stomp and Stammer, and they had a section called Pet Sounds. And a couple of the quotes I pulled from that was that the best thing you could have done after such a rough year. Now, was that 2017?
Yeah, so the very end of 2016 to the December of 2017. So almost exactly a year. I had started dating this guy who ended up being just super manipulative, and I would say just really sociopathic, but I don't know if that's actually what he was. That's what it seemed like to me. He was just insane. And I don't consider Georgie a breakup dog because I didn't get her after I broke up with him.
Right.
I broke up with him because I got her and I loved her so much and I didn't want him to ever meet her. Okay. So that's why I broke up with. She's not a breakup dog. She's just a dog that helped me break up with someone who I needed to not be in a relationship with.
Okay, helped you move on. Interesting.
Yeah.
In reading that and seeing that it was 2017, I was thinking, well, how was 2020? So was she very integral in, helping you keep your sanity during, COVID and the whole lockdown in 2020?
I mean, she's pretty integral in just helping me keep my sanity all the time. So yeah.
Okay.
2020 wasn't I'm one of those people that didn't have that rough of a 2020 actually.
Right.
2021 is a totally different story, but 2020, the first year of the pandemic, I did pretty okay.
Okay. Where was the band at that point? I mean, I've talked to some artists that they had just finished a touring cycle. So 2020 was actually going to be an off year. So they didn't suffer too much. But was that similar situation, or did it kind of, put a crimp in the band's momentum?
I mean, as far as the situation can go, we got kind of lucky because we weren't going to be able to work at all in 2020 because Kelly had 2 vocal cord surgeries around the time of the pandemic. And she was going to be on vocal rest for at least a year. So it just happened to coincide with that. And we weren't going to be able to work anyway.
Okay. That's good timing. Back to this dynamic you have as a family. Your bandmates are actually your step siblings, correct?
Yeah, Curtis
When
and
did
Kelly are
that
biologically.
when did that come to be?
Our parents got together when I was probably 11 or 12.
Okay.
So maybe around 2000, like 6 or 7.
Okay, so quite a while. So
But
you
they didn't officially get married until a few years ago. But I mean, we've always lived together. We've always been siblings, like since that time, even though they
right.
weren't married.
Okay. And no dogs, no family dogs between all of you?
Nope. I had a dog when I was a lot younger before we met them even, but I was pretty young and not that good at taking care of a dog. I didn't really understand how, so my mom made me give it to our neighbor who had a lot of dogs.
What kind of dog was it?
But other Beagle.
Okay, cute.
Yeah, she was really cute.
I'm
Sorry.
surprised because looking through Instagram, it seems like you guys are all dog lovers. There's always different pictures of dogs that you seemingly come across on tour. And I know Kelly has Patsy, correct?
Yeah.
So you guys all seem to have this
Yeah.
passion for dogs, but you had to wait kind of till you were a little bit older and on your own to execute the plans.
Yeah. We definitely haven't always been like a pet family. I wanted a pet for a long time before I got Georgie, and then that kind of inspired Kelly to get Patsy. I think, I don't know. I
Okay.
assume it did. I guess I've never asked her, but I think that's what got her to want to adopt a dog. And then, I mean, our family, the rest of our family wasn't super like they liked animals, but it wasn't like they weren't like crazy about
Yeah,
dogs or anything. That really quickly changed after I got Georgie, though. Everyone loves her, and we're all such big dog people now. Even Kelly and Kurt's dad, who we just never thought would be a dog person, loves them,
that's great.
especially Georgie and their dog Town.
That's great. Well, that's funny. I was going to say, who's Towns Van Pant? That's
That's my mom's dog.
okay. Okay, because that dog's popped up in the Instagram, and it's like, okay, where do they fit into the the pecking order of things?
He's a
So
puppy.
back to that article from Stomp and Stammer. You also said she brought a love into my life that I didn't even know I could feel. Like, what surprised you about the whole experience of bringing this dog and feeling so much heart for her?
I don't. It's just like obviously I love my family and my siblings and my parents and all my cousins, but like I said before, I got her right around the time I broke up with this just really bad guy who I like thought that I loved, and but it wasn't like a good feeling, and I'd never been in a relationship before this, and but that was the only thing that I knew as like love, I guess. Like that kind of love was just this
Right.
bad feeling that I had mistaken for love. And then I got Georgie, and I had already like kind of been wanting to break up with this guy. I just couldn't. I didn't have the like courage to do it. I was too scared. And then I got Georgie, and it's just like as soon as I went and got her, it was just this immediate connection. And I sorry, she's just being a little funny. It was just this intense feeling that I really needed after a year of being with this guy that tried to convince me that I was alone and my family didn't care about me or love me. And even now, like however many years later, like I still feel just so shocked that I can have this much love for her. It's just like it hasn't diminished in any way at all. And like every day I'm just like surprised that I got really lucky to have this little dog in my life.
Right. Well, I guess it's always said, it's the dog offers unconditional love. Was this relationship conditional? This kind of abusive relationship?
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways for sure. Not any like ways that I would want to get into, but
Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back to you mentioned that you tried to take her on tour. Let's go through that a little bit. When was that? How long ago was that? And where did it kind of go astray?
So I took her on a short, like about a week long tour right around the time I first got her. We went on tour with the Go team, and it was just like a mini West Coast tour. And she did okay. Like she didn't go. She just got antsy and anxious. She was fine in the car, but she didn't like meeting so many people, I don't think, and just being in different places every day. Like I'll travel with her. I took her down to LA whenever we were recording our album. I've taken her to Oklahoma a couple of times just to see family, and she does fine with that. Once we're like in a place and we can establish like a routine, she's fine with it. I think it's just a new place every night doesn't she doesn't do well with that kind of thing.
Okay. And so were you in a situation where you had to fill out that whole week with her, and then once it was over, that was her first and only tour?
I've taken her on a few other like small tours, like around the same time, but it was pretty quickly. I realized pretty quickly that she wasn't that into it and stopped taking her.
Okay. And was this something you had to get agreement with the rest of the band? Was there a discussion that you were going to do it, or was this
Yeah,
kind of, you know,
kind
springing
of.
on them?
It was more, there was, it was more like, hey, I'm going to bring Georgie on tour with us. And Kelly, and I think Kurt, but mostly Kelly was a little hesitant, but she like didn't say no. It wasn't like a long discussion. It was just like, hey, I want to do this. And then, okay.
Right. And if it wasn't for her, the dog stressing, was it a was it a welcoming thing to have the dog there, on it in the context of a tour? Like, was it soothing to you, or
Yeah,
was it just anxiety all over because she had anxiety?
it was like nice having her around, but I also got anxious because she would like her eating habits and toilet habits just went completely off the rails. Like she wouldn't eat or use the bathroom like for an entire day, and it like made me anxious, and it was all I could like focus on. So, but I liked having her with me and like sleeping in the same bed as her and like driving with her in the car, but it just wasn't worth it.
Okay. Now, does Patsy ever go on the road with you guys? I thought I saw her on a couple of gigs.
She's been on the road a couple times also. She is just wild though. And she's only gotten more wild as the years go by. And she also doesn't like being on the road really. Kind of does the same thing with as Georgie, where she like won't stick to a normal eating or toilet routine, and she's really anxious with people. Like she's Georgie is like I wouldn't say she's anxious with people. She like will bark at them the first time she meets them, but as soon as like they pet her, she's fine.
Hmm.
But Patsy is really anxious with new people. It takes her a long time to like get used to someone and trust someone.
Okay. So is Patsy in the same boat where it's like, all right, we're just not there's going to be no dogs on tour anymore?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
That's too bad. I mean, like I said, I've noticed pictures of you guys. Everyone in the band seems to enjoy dogs, and I think the
Yeah.
people I've talked to previously on the show, especially on the road, whether it's a studio dog or on tour, and even it was in France. It's like wherever you go, there's a dog, and it seems to always bring a little bit of joy, or I would assume kind of it would be a calming factor. Is that true?
Yeah. It's really nice seeing dogs on tour. I get a little nervous asking people if I can pet their dog. So I really bank on dogs coming up to me, which doesn't happen very often. Um, but every once in a while, I'll ask someone if I can pet their dog. If I see a Chihuahua on tour, though, I will just if it's been a while, I'll just burst into tears.
No. And do you ever try to FaceTime Georgia while you're gone?
Yeah,
Georgie while you're gone?
yeah. I FaceTime her. I make my mom like just like point the camera at her. She doesn't acknowledge me at all, but I also cry whenever I FaceTime her.
Has she exhibited any, there's a picture of you packing a couple of big suitcases, and I'm wondering, does she see those cues and start to sense that you're going away or start to stress?
Yeah, definitely. Like she will start being so crabby toward me whenever we start packing gear, and loading the van up. She just like ignores me and will like snap at me more. And she just like doesn't like me whenever we're packing up our gear.
Okay. And it's your mom who looks after her while you're gone? And that's always a
Yeah.
consistent go-to that's reliable for you?
Yeah. She loves my mom and my mom absolutely adores her. My mom's dog is Towns, but there's always going to be like just this special place for Georgie. Georgie is just like they love each other so much. So I love that she is willing to take care of when I'm gone because Georgie, I'm sure, just enjoys every moment.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have a trusted sitter. I was going to get into your tattoo. Now I understand you have a dog tattoo, and if I'm correct in my assessment, it's based on fan art. Is that right? A piece of fan art?
So the one that I have that's based on art is actually something done by our cousin who was 11 whenever he did it.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Is that the one? And it's also
yeah,
is it Patsy that's on your arm?
yeah. So I have Patsy on my arm, and that's the one that my cousin drew. And I have one of Georgie that I did myself on my ankle.
Okay.
Um, and then I have another drawing that I want to get done that our cousin did of Georgie in the same style as the Patsy one. And I'm gonna get that one done pretty soon, I think.
Same cousin? Is he older now?
Yeah,
Okay.
he 12 now.
Okay, so just a year older.
Yeah.
What's the? I got to see the Georgie one. Where is it on your ankle?
Yeah, it's on my ankle. Hold on.
Like, what's the style? I'm always curious to see the dog tattoos. There's so many different ways to go. Oh yeah, that's great. Oh, that's cool. That's nice and
Yeah.
simple.
It's just this little picture that I have of her like sunbathing in the on top of our couch and she's like stretching up towards the sun. And I did it myself. Everyone thinks it's a cat, but I mean she's kind of cat-like, so I guess it makes sense.
Now, did you do any training with her? Did you train her yourself, or did you bring in a trainer, or is it just kind of
We
learn and
did
grow?
a little bit of training, but I timed it really poorly and it ended up being at the same time as a tour. So then I had to rely on my mom to take her. And my mom's super busy, so she didn't end up actually going to training. But like she knows like how to sit and she'll stay if I'm like really slow about it. But she doesn't really have any training. She's not too bad of a dog though.
Would you consider
Pretty
a
good.
second dog to keep her company, or does she have enough
I
kind
don't
of step siblings?
I don't think that she would want another dog. I think it would make her mad. I have a cat named Denver, and they don't love each other, but they get along okay. Like they don't like they're never like snappy toward each other.
Right. They tolerate one
Um,
another.
but Georgie is definitely like annoyed that I have another pet. Like she's not down with it.
When was the cat introduced?
I think it was summer of 21,
Okay.
so
So
about a year and a half ago.
you and Georgie were well established by then.
Yeah.
So I gather you're not big on social media, or at least on Instagram.
Um, yeah, not really. I've been doing like TikToks for the band, and I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it. And I think I have like maybe 40 followers on it that are all just like my friends.
Okay. I only ask because I go to Instagram to kind of gather my information about the dogs. And luckily, the band site had a lot. Your bandmate Kelly had a lot to work from. But
Yeah.
the one thing I really missed was when I clicked on the link at Georgie Butt, it was an empty lead. So
Oh,
that never
yeah.
came to be, or did it come to be and
Well,
you gave up on it?
I had an Instagram for her, but I took down all of the like I took down that account whenever I just decided to scale back a little bit on social media.
So that's what you lost. What did you post on it? Just pictures of her or videos of her or
Yeah, I didn't post very often, but it was just photos of her and videos, all her.
okay. All right. Well, I'll try to solicit some of those and I can post those for to promote this show. I also want
Yeah.
to circle back. I'm sorry, I should have asked this back when we were talking about it, but your boyfriend at the time, what was his reaction upon you getting the dog?
He, I mean, I got her and then I broke up with him probably a week later, so he hadn't met her at all. I mean, he was excited to meet her, or at least he like said he was, but I mean, that was about it.
Okay. All right.
And I never told him that I broke up with him because I didn't want him to meet my dog. So I don't think I'm sure he wouldn't have liked that, but yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what's a good day for Georgie? Does she need to, go for long walks or just need to get outside, or what's kind of the ideal day for her?
Yeah, she loves going on long walks. She could walk for miles and miles if I could keep up with her. But I'd say like the best day for her would be starting out just like lying in bed for a while. It takes her a couple hours to like want to get out of bed. Like I'll like ask her if she wants to go on a walk or try to feed her, and she just like looks at me like, no, I'm not getting out of bed. So just snoozing for a little bit, and then we would go on a walk. I don't live in a super pretty area, and so she doesn't really like walking around here. So generally, I take her out to the waterfront or to the park that's a couple miles from my place, which is her favorite. She loves going to the park, just long trails, forested area. So we would walk down there for probably an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Okay.
Just depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. Like I said, she could go on for hours. I've taken her on 7 mile hikes before, and she just like, she has like a little dip in the middle and then she's right back at it, just like right at the front of the line.
Wow.
Yeah, she loves walking. She loves if it's in like a nice like nature area. She doesn't like walking downtown or in the city or
Yeah.
on sidewalk.
Not a city girl.
Yeah, so then we would do a walk and then we'd come back home, and that's whenever she eats. Sometimes if I don't have time to take her out to the park, we'll just walk down to the coffee shop that's close by. And if she's lucky, she'll get a puppuccino. But I don't let her have those very often because especially if I haven't already fed her, it'll upset her stomach and she might throw up.
Okay.
But then yeah, we just come back and we hang out here for a bit. We're kind of home buddies. She likes to lay in bed a lot. She loves laying in the sun. So if there's like a little sunny spot through the window, she'll go lay there. And then I take her on a couple of shorter walks after our long one in the morning. So in the afternoon, I just take her out for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then the same in the evening.
Okay.
And
You're a
then,
good dog mom.
yep. And then if she can hang out with my little cousins, she loves them. So the more people that she can hang around that will pet her, the better her day will be.
Nice. Now, if we could put her in your chair and ask her questions, what would she say about you? Are
She'll
all your
probably
secrets
say
safe?
probably say that I don't pet her enough or cuddle her enough, and that I spend too much time like on my phone or reading or playing video games. She'd probably say I don't pay enough attention to her. And she'd probably say that she likes my mom more than me.
Oh, come on. Georgie, don't be like that. Well, listen, I wrap up every show with what I call the Zoomies, and that's 5 quick questions. So let's go there. Question 1 is, do you kiss Georgie on the mouth?
Yes,
Okay,
all
we
the
love
time.
that answer, and we've been getting a lot of positive ones for that. The first 20 or so shows, it was kind of split 50-50. Question 2 is, has she licked anyone famous? And I asked that with the knowledge that Patsy mingled with some members of Bikini Kill I saw on
Yeah,
Instagram. So in that context, when she was out on tour or whenever recording, did she ever any fellow musicians or anybody well known?
I think the most famous people that she has licked would be Louise Post from Veruca Salt and Exene Cervenka from X. I
Great.
think that those are the two, that's the only ones I can think of at least.
Those are good ones. We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Question 3 is, if she was on tour with you, what would she insist on being on the tour rider?
Cheese sticks.
Oh, is that her thing?
That's her favorite. She'll come to the fridge. She won't come to the fridge every time you open the fridge, but if you open the fridge and touch the cheese sticks, she'll come running in.
Is she a pretty good eater in terms of she, fussy with food or pretty easy?
She can be. Yeah, she can be. But she's gotten easier as she's gotten a little older.
Okay.
But she prefers wet food over dry food, but I try to give her a mix, but she'll eat just dry food if that's all I have.
Yeah. Okay. Question 4 is, do you use a dog voice to speak to her?
Sometimes,
And
but
an
not all the time.
addendum to that is, do you give her a voice? Do you personify her, or do you give her thoughts of voice?
Sometimes also, yeah.
Did she just bark? I couldn't.
No, she's just sleeping.
Okay, and I won't embarrass you to share it, but can you describe it? Is it, is it
Yeah,
studious, rational? Is it cartoony? Is it,
it's kind of like more cartoony, kind of like high and raspy, kind of like a punky little Chihuahua dog.
okay. I'll use my imagination. I need to start forcing the issue that people need to share it with me, but I understand it could be embarrassing. And last but not least, question 5 is there a dog organization or charity or service that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, I got Georgie and my cat from the Humane Society in Tacoma, and I really like them there. They've always been really nice and helpful whenever I would adopt a pet or I needed help with them later, I guess.
Okay.
And they have been really good. I've taken a few strays to the Humane Society, and they've been really good about processing that.
Oh, great. Now, how did that come about? Where would you come across a stray?
It's really common here. I see them all the time, and I don't always have time to pick them up. And sometimes I'll try to pick them up, and it seems like they might be a little aggressive. But I see stray dogs all the time. I fell in love with the first one that I found. I named him, which is, I know, a bad idea, but I named him, and I wanted to keep him so bad. But we found his owner and got him back to her.
Well, that's good. What kind of dog was it?
I'm not really sure. Maybe like, I think it was like some sort of terrier mix, almost Patsy-like, but a little more dignified than Patsy. No offense to Patsy.
Yeah, Patsy, when you hear this, no offense.
I named him Charlie, and he was just the sweetest little puppy. I still have the dog tag that I bought him.
Oh, cute.
And Georgie actually liked him, which was really uncommon for her back then. And now she's not a huge fan of other dogs. She's really particular about the dogs that she'll spend time with. But she liked him, and he
That's
liked
great.
her. It was really sweet.
A special dog. That's my dog's name, Charlie.
Oh.
Now, are you Chihuahua for life now, or cut to the future? Would it just be let me just decide, when the time comes?
I mean, I'm not saying like no to other breeds of dogs, but I mean, I think that I want a Chihuahua forever for my whole life. I love Chihuahuas.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that's the most represented breed in the podcast so far. We've had the most Chihuahuas. But before we go, is there anything you'd like to promote? Anything coming up for you guys?
Yeah. So our album Chaos County Line is out now. It's a double album on El Camino Media. And then we're going to be touring through mid-July. So you can check our Instagram or our website for those tour dates.
All right.
And that's it.
Excellent. Is the LP available on vinyl?
Yes, it's available on
A
vinyl.
gatefold?
Yes.
Will there be any dogs
so.
in the artwork?
Yes.
There will be.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Patsy makes an appearance.
But no Georgie?
I think so. I might be wrong about that.
Okay.
No Georgie.
It's funny. I was asking, not really being serious, but now that you mention it, that's great. But we want to see all the dogs represented properly.
Yeah.
Well, Peyton, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and discuss Georgie and all the other dogs that you've come across. I appreciate it. And I wish you guys the best of luck with the new album and the tour. And if you come down south to where I am, I'll be happy to catch you guys live. So
cool. Thanks.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Peyton Bighorse of Skating Polly, for introducing us to your dog, Georgie. Skating Polly's double LP Chaos County line is out now, and you can catch them live on tour until mid-July, so check their website and socials for dates and locations. The organization Peyton is shining a spotlight on is the Humane Society of Tacoma and Pierce County, who've been around since 1888, providing life-saving work for pets in need and support to the people who love them. To adopt, foster, volunteer, or donate, visit thehumanesociety.org. Thanks as always for tuning in and supporting the show. For pictures and videos of our guests and their dogs, follow us on Instagram at Rocker Dog Podcast. And while you're scrolling around your phone, make sure you subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode like the one we have teed up for next week, featuring a New York-bred rocker who's building quite a reputation for his live, energetic shows. So please tune in. All right, it's time to power down. We'll see you next time.